Heard anything about your possible radio gig in Michigan? Heard back from them at all?
Uh, Close your eyes. What do you see?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's what I got.
There we go.
Oh,
Bupkis, I think, is what they call it in Yiddish,
Bupkis
right?
is also good.
In
Bupkis is
Yiddish,
actually better.
in Yiddish, it's bupkis.
Yiddish and
Hey,
Bupkis.
you know what?
Yeah,
Can we thank the Jews? Can we thank the Jews for Yiddish terms that we use in everyday English now? Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Eastern Russian Jews or Eastern
Yeah.
European Jews.
Well,
Thank you.
in Ann Arbor, and we had quite a bit of Yiddish still being spoken by the older people, and God, I miss that language. Even though they were calling things that I'm sure are unrepeatable in English. You know, little goyim or something.
Right. Was that Andy's having a hard time getting in here. But doesn't matter to me now. We're live already. So
There you go.
Here we are.
here we are. Here we are.
On Earth together. It's you and I.
No, my mom used to work for Jews here in Detroit when she was in high school, and there was something came up where I know it was the Jewish holy days were coming up, and they were all talking about shutting down, and my mom says, well, I can work. She goes, you're a good Jewish girl. You'll be at the synagogue. She goes, I'm not Jewish.
Oh, they heard the name Sweetman.
And the boss no, it was my mom. My mom's name was Beneducci. She was Italian.
Oh, so they were stupid.
But there's Italian Jews too. But anyway, she
Yeah,
goes,
both of them.
yeah. Roberto Benini. Well, who was the guy that did the that did the film with
I know
about the
I know what
concentration?
you're talking about. Is he Jewish?
He's Jewish. The whole story was about he's Jewish, and the whole story was about him being Jewish
Oh, that's the reason I didn't watch it.
and Italian.
I know, I'm serious. When I found out what it was about, I forgot this. It depressed the shit out of me. I can't keep watching film. The last one I saw like that was Schindler's List. I can't keep watching films where Jews get fucked over. I can't do it. It's bad enough I'm in show business.
In particular, is one that is brutal in a certain way.
I think we got an Andy call here. Hold on.
Not my fault.
Okay, Andy. Yeah, you know what? You, my friend, are live on the air with us because we went ahead and started the show
without you.
And what do you need? You need the link again?
Yeah, I think you guys are all sounding like you had tin foil on your speakers. So
as opposed to tinfoil hats? Is that what you think?
Yes, as opposed to tinfoil
Hey,
hats.
don't knock my hobbies.
But that's to protect yourself from alien thoughts.
All right. Well, we're just gonna keep. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep chatting, and I'm gonna send you the link, and you get in when you can.
Okay. All right.
Jason's hair is getting very long.
I'll try the phone.
I'll send it via your phone number.
I'm looking at the back, man.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Andy keeps going out and because he says we all sound like we're talking through tinfoil microphones.
That's only me.
No, we all sound. You guys both sound good to me. I presume I sound all right to you guys. It's Andy, and Andy sounded fine to us. He's just he's got a fucked up speaker on his phone. That's all there is to it. He just needs some speakers or something.
Oh, I see what's happening. Jason's got the wind in his hair.
Well,
Jason's got that Fabio look going.
Yeah.
As opposed to Trump, who has the Flabio look.
What'd you call him today in the TikTok? Flabby tits?
No. Former President Blubber Titties.
Blubber titties.
You know who first called him that?
Who?
Imus.
Oh, did he? You know what I like
took
that.
it from Imus, but when I said it to him, and I did, he said, I want you to know that no matter what happens, you're always going to be someone who is always going to be leading the charge in a limousine. Of course, eventually you'll be driving one.
I've already done that.
And he got really pissed.
Let us.
And excuse me, I thought to myself, I don't know if you ever saw him at a roast. He has no sense of humor.
Imus?
No. Trump.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. He has no sense of humor, and he's never had a dog. What is wrong with this human being?
And correct me if I'm wrong. You've never seen him laugh.
No, you haven't. He does that smile where he tries to pretend he doesn't have dentures.
He's got that, and he's got this look. If you can see me, like.
Yeah, he's got that.
Yes.
I've never wanted to smack a human being more.
Oh, I don't know.
Wasn't that a Carly Simon song?
What, you're so slappable?
No.
Oh dear. You're so vain?
I never want.
You're Bob Crane.
Slap a man the way I want to slap you.
I never wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
I never wanted to slap a man.
All right, hold on.
That one.
I'm dicking around here. Where I gotta find.
I should turn on some light. What do you think?
I'm ordering the sunlight to come in right now for a gorgeous backdrop.
You can let the sunshine in. Oh boy. Getting up. Walking over here.
Okay. There's text message. All right. This is just like show business for senior citizens is like. Yeah, this is how it should be.
Well, that's much better.
There you go.
Show business for senior citizens. All right, that just got sent to Andy. Now I'm going to send it to my wife is asking for it now too because I didn't send it properly to her.
I keep in touch with a woman who I dated 45 years ago. She's been married for 40 years. I was thrilled when she got married. He's a lovely guy. There was no, you dumped me for nothing like that. She found the right guy, and I'm thrilled for her. And excellent. Today she said something. We keep in touch all the time. She said something that really touched me. She said, "You pulled me up from a very dark place when we met, and I've never been able to thank you enough."
Oh.
And I said, "I can think of a way."
I knew that was coming from you. I got a list.
And it starts with, "Why don't we get this going?" But this is what she said. When I said, "I can think of a way," she goes, "You are an ass."
Sammy's ex-girlfriend bucket list. This is called.
That's right. That's right. But she was a great kid. Well, she's in her 60s now, but she was a great kid. And she met this guy, and it was the right guy. I mean, they've been together over 40 years. Jesus, As a friend of mine said, "How long have you been married?" I said, "Over 42 years." He said, "So you really don't have anything to be bitter about?"
Maybe I get closer to my house.
I said, "No, not at all." I said, "People don't believe me when I say that. I'm happy for them. She found the right guy. We're still friends."
Yeah.
But you can't carry that around with you. I said, "Now there was a girl who dumped me for one of my best friends."
Oof.
And that really screwed me up. But then I found out they got married, had 2 kids, and she dumped him.
Yeah,
well, that's
I can't hear what you guys are saying, but.
Huh? I'm sorry?
Andy said he can't hear what we're saying. But we can hear you fine.
Me, you mean?
I'm going to try to move closer to my house. Maybe that'll do it.
You're great.
Andy, you sound great. You sound fine to us. It's just how, there he goes. He's.
I mean, when someone's been married, I mean, I can still remember my parents who were only married for 36 years. And it was like that Alan King description of marriage. "I'm not letting you go. There's too much bitterness and hatred. I'm not about to let you go."
I think I told Mark this. I don't think you were around for this, Jason. I don't think so. But I used to do this bit. And I said, my father, before we would sit down to eat, every single night, every single night would say, when my father came to this country, he had $5. $5. And that's it. Every night he said this. Every night. So one night, my mother, who was a very quiet, demure woman, he said that, right? $5. And the only time in my life I ever saw her blow up, she went, and how much did he have when he died, Rob? $8. $8 and I never heard curse. $8 and then she started to do a dance and she went, oh, he's a financial wizard. He moved his fortune up by a third. She goes, that guy could have the Fort Knox deposit its gold in his lap and he'd find a way to give it away.
Yeah.
Stop bragging about that piece of shit. And I'm like, holy shit. Because I thought the next thing was going to be, and now if you don't mind, I'm going to go out and get laid.
All right, we're a quarter into the show here, so let me get Susan's poem out of the way. I just got a message from her. She will not be coming to read it, but she did send it to me.
Playing hard to get, huh?
Yeah. Well, she had a. Oh, she just sent me a text message saying my camera is blurry. You know what? It always is blurry, and the reason my camera is blurrier than you guys is because I broadcast at a lower
resolution.
Specifically, because in the past when I didn't, I always had that 10-second delay whenever I was talking, and this helps. If I have high resolution, then I'm not live. I'm 10-second delayed, so I do a lower resolution now. Anyway, so here's
Susan's poem.
Susan's poem. Here's Susan's poem. Okay, here we go. This is for August 1st. Poem by Susan Salisbury. The month of July was a lot of fun. Michigan weather and Michigan sun, most of it bleak. Ex-Putin advisor is suddenly the trick. Syracuse building unstable. No Amtrak train. Zelensky appeals to Biden to visit Ukraine. Nancy Pelosi is scheduled to visit Taiwan. Canada's hiring birth workers for the Yukon. Kentucky is flooded, and there are fires out west. Lovelock dies. The British environmental scientist. Earth's an orgasm imperiled by people who ask why. You ask why. I'll explain to you. He's the gay theory guy. Banana boat recall on sunscreen for our scalps. And there's a giant watery battery under the Alps.
All right.
There you go. That's her poem for the week. I don't know any of those news stories, actually.
Well, I know the one about they killed bin Laden's successor.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so once again, the beauty of our weapons, they deliver.
By the way, here's all you need to know about Fox News. The first story on every other news service, including conservative newspapers, was the murder of this guy. Well, not murder, the death of this guy, okay?
Right.
What was Fox News's? Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan. Really?
Did she
really, guys?
Because I heard it was up in the air. Did she actually go to Taiwan?
I'm not sure, but you know what I'm saying. That's your lead story.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, you got to remember, there's a lot of folks who you might call as being on the right who are not exactly in love with Fox News.
That is true. That is true. Which once again makes me ask, why do you do that?
Well, the one thing that I learned a long time ago is that any news service you're looking at, you're not looking at the news. You're looking at the news business. They're all trying to sell you something.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about that.
It's all, you don't have to be imbued with cynicism down to your very soul, but it don't hurt necessarily. Because like I say, I mean, who's telling the truth? It requires maybe a synthesis. Maybe some people need to think for themselves. And in this day and age, you can actually do that if you want.
That would make me think, though, that anybody that needs a catheter would probably be a little bit, cheerier.
I don't need a catheter, but I like one every now and then.
I want one.
For long trips, they would certainly come in handy.
Who you telling? Long trips, I'm 74. Short trips, Are you kidding me?
So I don't watch Fox. I don't watch. Oh, we lost Sam.
Oh,
Come on
damn
back, Sam. Anytime.
it.
Anyway, as far as I know, I don't watch Fox News, but as far as I know, they got My Pillow and catheter sales, right?
The My Pillow guy, I absolutely love him. I mean, he tells the most lurid stories about his, being at the wrong end of a 6-guy Mexican trucker bukkake outside of, San Diego.
But then he reformed.
While on a crack bench and suddenly sees God and yeah, exactly. But now he's wearing a cross, and it's like, dude, I don't know. I mean, even Jesus might be like, listen, pal, you need to go hit the bath a couple more times, because yeah, you're not doing it. It's not working for me. And anyone that I see take his whole business and just plunge it into where he plunged it into. I mean, there are people who are working for him who are trying to make a living, minimum wage, somewhat above minimum wage, and you go dragging your whole business through all that crap. I mean,
Yeah.
that's narcissism. That's pure, grandiose, psychopathic narcissism. You might like a particular candidate. That's fine. You contribute to them when and where you can. But to involve everything and everyone, and like I say, the people who are just showing up, working in your sweatshop to make a pillow, I don't know. You can do better. I mean, we had Tom Monahan here in Ann Arbor 20
What
years
a
ago.
whack job.
Oh, whack job is one of the kindest words you could use. I mean, I would call him some sort of form of inbred Irish
He was
escape.
the guy who said, if I had known when I married her that my wife would not convert to Catholicism, I wouldn't have married her.
Good, because then we wouldn't have had the children, which would have been fine with me. The world would have been better. There would have been less Tom Monahan genetic material that needs to be thrown into the bleach of the gene pool. That would be a little bit less. Tom Monahan is an absolute monster. You can't go anywhere in Ann Arbor and throw a rock without hitting somebody who was pissed off, pissed on, or ripped off by Tom Monahan. But he's a billionaire now who gets to live in his own little constructed world. So I guess
Is he even alive? Is he alive still?
Sadly, yes. He's in Florida.
Yeah, he's got to be in his 90s by now, isn't he? He's like as old as Illich, I think.
He's not that old, but he's down in Florida. He has built a compound. It's not quite Jonesville or Jonestown, but I mean, only because the plumbing I hear is better. And well, I mean, it's Florida. You got to do something with that.
That's a great line. Only because the plumbing is better.
Better, yeah. But Monahan, I worked for Domino's for many years. I started out in '83 as a long-haired, dope-smoking delivery driver, who stood 6 foot and weighed 180 pounds, if you can imagine such. And worked my ass off all the way up.
I can imagine it.
A few stores. And we worked for a franchise, which we could never get anyone to understand. We're working for a franchise owned by a woman. I had an all-female staff because that way I wouldn't hit on them. And it all went to shit because Tom Monahan dragged us into the middle of the abortion debate. Good work, Tom. Good work. Thank you.
And then the nun said, "Bandit, I damn near broke it." Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello.
I guess you didn't hear the front of it. No.
Yeah.
God.
That's okay, Sam. Sam, when you come with a punchline, sometimes the punchline is just funny no matter what the setup is. So,
Well, my favorite punchline that doesn't need a joke is "Ding dong, motherfucker." Do you know that one?
No, but I like the punchline.
Guy's having sex with this woman, not his wife. The husband comes home. The guy hides in the closet, the adulterer. So the guy says, "There's someone here, isn't there?" She goes, "No, of course not." He goes, "Really? I hear someone in the closet." "No, you don't. I'm telling you, there's someone in that closet. I can hear him. It's like there's bells in there." "Oh, are there? Well, let's see." So she takes her hand and smacks him right on the nuts. And he goes, "Ding dong, motherfucker."
One of my favorite Buddy Hackett's joke without a punchline he used to do. I can't remember which thing he did this for, but it was so these two fags are fucking a dead alligator on a bus, and then he stops there and goes off on a. I'm like, I so want to rip that off. I know Sandy Hackett would probably track me down and sue me.
Sandy Hackett's not smart enough to track you down.
You've been in the business for a while, Sam. No one seems to have anything nice to say about Sandy Hackett.
And it's not because he's the son of a famous comic either.
Is it just because he's just really not a nice person?
I feel that this is just me. I don't know if other people feel this way. He trades on his father's fame.
I'll say something nice about him.
All right. Yes.
You're on the delay.
I'll say
again,
something
Mark.
nice about him.
Go ahead.
He when I first moved to LA, he gave me gigs that paid. Oh, am I really?
Oh, he gave me gigs.
That's great.
He gave me gigs.
Right.
He was he was married to a woman at the time, and he said, "What do you think of her?" Which is the dumbest question you can ask a guy about your wife. Yep. It is the dumbest. I mean, Susan's wonderful, so that wouldn't be anything difficult. But as a rule, I don't know this woman. I don't, and she scared me because she was real quiet. And I said to another guy, I said, she impresses me as someone who would fuck you over in a heartbeat. And he said,
okay, really? You guys sound normal.
All right.
Andy's back. We can do the dueling Zardoz heads.
Zardoz heads?
That's all I dream about.
Say between you and I, Andy, we can.
Yes.
I know.
Sean Connery. Yes, Zardoz.
Yes.
Sean Connery. Yes. We'll live forever. Yes.
A friend of mine was on a movie set where Sean Connery was there. And Connery is reading the New York Times. And my friend is taking his picture over and over and over and over, right? From 10 feet away. And finally, Connery goes, Jesus Christ, lad, it's enough. Put the fucking camera away or I'll have it up your ass. And so I said to him, what did you do? He said, there's no camera up my ass. So what do you think I did?
I'll put it away. Cornflakes. Cornflakes.
I'm an advanced nuclear weapon. First of all, it was his fault. He took 10 fucking pictures. How many do you need? Come on, stop it.
Yeah.
You might know this guy. I don't know. Nick Syracuse?
Heard the name.
He did a joke that was so great. He goes, if you're really hungry, be careful when you order something late at night, especially at Taco Bell, because late at night is when they serve the hottest food. And one time I went there and I had the Caliente Grande special. Okay. The next morning, my ass looked like the beginning of Bonanza.
That's a good one. I like that one.
What a beautifully.
So I said to a friend of mine, I said, I tried that joke and they didn't get it.
They didn't
and he
get
goes, it was a young audience.
Yeah, they didn't know the opening to Bonanza,
So you know what I did? I changed it to my ass looked like the beginning of Mission Impossible.
There you go.
Get it.
No,
and that
okay.
they got.
Okay. The beginning of Bonanza.
Still, great. Bonanza's got a better sound to it. Bonanza.
Oh, much better. The flaming map.
Yeah.
No, it's a pity when culture.
Yeah, who didn't know the beginning of Bonanza though?
Anyone?
I bet that joke would work in a urban area.
Huh?
In an urban area, in either a place that only gets me TV.
Well,
because
I think you're really kind of limiting your demo there.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like people who aren't going to pay for cable. So there you go. Who don't pay for cable.
Oh, so both of them have to be at the gig?
Yeah. all three of them from the urban city. I'm going like the places I've been picking up lately. I don't see a lot of people there. They're all living off the antennas.
Did you see that Ron Zimmerman died?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
It's not every day that I can say I have a friend whose girlfriend was Cher,
That's true. That's true.
and she was there when he died.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
She was there when he died?
Yes.
No kidding.
She
That's
said, Ron, it's me, Cher. He goes, I know. And that was it. And I don't think they were dating at the time.
Wow.
Wow.
Although I have to tell you, if you're at somebody's deathbed, you know, it may not be a good time to date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get together next week?
But,
Okay. All right.
Glenn Farrington told me that he was devastated by his death. He said that one night he went over. I've rarely seen a guy that universally loved as Ron. But anyway, he said he goes over to Ron's house and he says, I got some friends coming over. Is that okay? He goes, sure. Yeah. Lucy Liu and Marianne McCormick.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Glenn's told me this story before.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, that's it?
Wasn't Ron from DC? He was a DC comic,
Yes, he
right?
was. His parents owned two grocery
Yeah.
stores.
Yeah.
Two related grocery stores. In fact, I'll never forget this. He, although I'm doing a good job right now, he was at not a dinner. He was at a dinner for friends, and Ron's parents were there, and Rich Scheidner was there.
Mm-hmm.
And Scheidner didn't like his parents. They were very tough on Ron. And his father, Ron's father, gets up and proposes a toast. And this was the toast. To my son, Ron, who cost us tens of thousands of dollars in psychiatric therapy. And Scheidner got up and said, and to Ron's parents, who are responsible for that therapy.
No, man.
And I thought, good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
I think closing it with you bitch might have been out of line, but
Yeah, that's true.
you know.
That's true.
What was that joke in Husbands and Wives with Woody Allen? She's a postmodern feminist. She said that the Sabines had it coming. Oh,
Man,
God.
you know, do you realize that there's been so many Woody Allen films made that you could have a festival that could last a month?
Easily.
Just playing Woody Allen films?
What movie of his would you watch over and over?
Would I watch over and over? I think my favorite is still Manhattan. I mean, even though it has to do with him dating a teenager,
that made me a little dicey.
I still like that. Well, you know what? When I first saw it, she was 17, I was 17, and I went with it. You know what I mean?
And he was 104.
Exactly.
Hey,
my favorite movie of his, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I don't think it's a popular one, Midnight in Paris.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too. That's another one I could watch over and over again.
Oh,
another one I like was, I loved Radio Days.
Yeah.
Well, Radio Days, for me, was like wonderful. Because that scene where Josh Mostel goes over to give Larry David, who was not known at the time,
right,
a piece of his mind because he's playing the radio on Yom Kippur, and he comes back, and his wife says, "Saul, what happened?" He goes, "Nothing." Well, did you talk to them? Yeah. Well, what happened? Well, I ate. You ate? Saul, you're supposed to fast. That's ridiculous. Well, what did you eat? I had pork chops. Saul. And oysters. Saul. And chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I love this. He goes, what is the big deal? God is not looking directly at me. God, I don't know, you can see me. God has no interest in and she goes, Saul, are you okay? He goes, I may need an enema. She goes, yeah. I just love that. God isn't interested in me.
But
He's not concerned with. Uh, uh,
but does anyone remember the scene from I believe it's Bananas where he goes into the magazine store? It's got to be
oh
one of the,
yeah, oh yeah,
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 someone
yeah.
yeah.
copy of Orgasm, you know, and of course it get he's buying obviously 10 other magazines just for the copy of Orgasm and it gets
Orgasm. Hey
yeah.
Harry, how much is orgasm?
She holds it up. How much for the copy of Orgasm? And
And he gives the
You know
woman's
who
tit
had
a
the
feel.
best line about buying the porno magazine? Have you ever heard? Do you remember Eric Tunney?
Sure.
He did that line about how he's talking about how he goes into a newsstand. He says, "I love to go into newsstands." And he's talking about how you ever notice that the farther away you get from the counter, the worse the magazines are, and the worse the lighting is. You're there by the pay counter. They got fluorescent lighting. Everything is well lit. You walk a little further
That's
down. They got
funny.
incandescent lighting. You walk a little further, and they got some of the local magazines. Then you go a little further. Now you're talking about spy and detective magazines, and the light flickers a little bit. You get down to the end. That's where all the ass masters are, and the light is completely burned out. He goes, and I look down, and it says. And they had here it's February, and they've got January's Ass Masters displayed.
Pass.
And he says, so he calls back to the counter and goes, "Hey, you don't have this much Ass Masters." He goes, "Yeah, that's what they send us. That's all we got." He goes, "Well, so much has happened in the world of ass mastering since January."
Oh, is that funny? Oh God, is that? By the way, you guys are some kind of medicinal value. Do you hear I'm talking now?
Yeah.
6 hours ago, I was like this.
Yeah, you sound much better. You sound much better than even your TikTok video earlier today.
My wife said, "You know why? Because you weren't talking." She goes,
Probably.
I go, "You think that's it?" She goes, "I don't know, but that was the happiest time of my life." So what? And I said to her, "Why do you got to hurt a brother?"
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember that?
All right.
Do you remember that show from? I'm sorry.
How about we discuss?
Freezing up on us, Mark.
I'm sorry. I can't hear you.
I can't.
From what?
Can't hear Mark at all.
No, I'm on delay
You
again. That's what's
completely
bothering.
went blank.
All right. I wanted to have you guys. I want to discuss Bill Russell and Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
Did I really?
You know, did you hear the story about Bill Russell when he came home from a vacation?
No.
And these thugs came in and trashed his house. So they called the police. Police came in and took a report. And then they left. And Bill Russell and his wife pulled the blankets back, and somebody had shit on their bed.
Oh. Where was this at?
In Boston.
Well, that doesn't surprise me for Boston.
Not in 1975. It wouldn't.
No. Well, we had areas in Michigan that were in perfect sync with Boston at that time. I mean, I can remember we had.
I think there are places where you could see that in a lot of places.
I know, but when you're close to it, it's just like it sort of glares at you, if you will. Warren was a good example. In the city of Warren in 1980, they beat a man named Vincent Chin to death because there's the UAW guys, and I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's true. They were mad at the Japanese, so they beat a man named Vincent.
So they beat a Chinese guy to death.
To death. That's right. Yes.
Did they get arrested?
They got arrested and convicted of involuntary manslaughter, which they should
15
have.
years.
They didn't even get that. I mean, they should have gone to prison for the rest of their lives, but it was 1980, 81. What are you going to do? I mean,
do you watch CBS Sunday Morning?
Unfortunately, no. I watch very little television.
James Hong, the great actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was on. He's still working. He's 93.
Jesus.
He said he's still, I mean, he's got like a list of movies he's up for.
Right.
Okay. So he said the worst episode of his life was he was playing Charlie Chan's _1 son.
Oh, really?
Oh,
And J. Carroll Nash played Charlie Chan
Right.
because you couldn't find a Chinese guy.
No.
So,
Yeah.
and he made a mistake on one reading of the script. And J. Carroll Nash said, "Can we get a Chinese actor in here who can speak fucking English?" And it really scarred Hong
Ah, yeah.
because they said to him, "That's really terrible." And he waved his hand and said, "I don't want to talk about it anymore. It still hurts." This had to be 50 years ago.
yeah.
He said, I can't talk about it anymore.
Well,
Because I assume one of the reasons is he had to eat it.
yeah. There wasn't much you could do about it. But
Not even now. Well,
I mean-
now they'd can his ass.
nowadays, I mean, though, I run into such casual cluelessness about certain things. Last week, I picked up a mom and her daughter on the athletic campus of the U of M. There was an athletic event going on there. And I pointed out to them the track this girl had just been running on used to be used by Jesse Owens to practice. And they said, "That's great. Who's Jesse Owens?" They literally thought
That doesn't surprise me at all.
well, to me,
How old was the mother?
she had to be about 38, 39.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Daughter was 14, 15.
Yeah, no. That
know,
doesn't surprise me in any way.
you should know who Jesse Owens is.
No, you should know if you read. They don't
Yeah.
read.
No, they don't. They thought I was referring to some social media star.
Yeah.
Well, what you should have said was, that'll be $22.30. And what are you, fucking idiots?
No, what you should have done is say, "I'm going to take you to Barnes and Noble. Okay, here's a couple of things you're going to stop off. It's called a bookstore."
I'm going to take you to Burns and Allen.
There you go.
Say goodnight, Gracie. I don't expect people to necessarily know everything. You don't need to know the whole world came to a stop when Max Schmeling fought Joe Louis. You should know that.
The doctor who I saw today for my COVID test
Yes.
was probably 29 years old.
Yeah.
She had no idea what All in the Family was.
Oh God.
Well, if they would just watch MeTV, they would be able to get any sort of thing.
Many women, many people, like my wife, men watch reruns, women don't.
Mm.
I watch. She goes, "Why do you watch so many Law and Orders?" I said, "Well, I might be sticking my neck out, but I think I enjoy it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you,
I've been in 5 of the episodes.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh
Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to tell you something. If you're in a Broadway play, this isn't true. Well, yeah, it is true still. If you're in a Broadway play and you haven't been in a what's his name? A Dick Wolf project,
Right.
they'll kick you out of the union. I mean,
Yeah.
Law and Order, the 3 Law and Orders, the 3 and then there's 3 Chicagos.
Well, my understanding, Daniel J. Travanti was saying this back in the day. Gunsmoke, you had to have a Gunsmoke credit on your CV at some point.
And after that, you had to have either a Love Boat or a Murder, She Wrote.
Oh,
yeah.
But the thing about huh?
Go ahead. If you're ever looking to get Law and Order, you're really desperate, go to any truck stop in America because they're all watching Law and Order. And I think it's basically because they're looking for their own case to come up on the screen.
Oh, that's funny.
Wait, desperation in truck stops. The last thing I think about is Law and Order. It usually has to do with the second or third stall on the right, but you do you.
I'm surprised.
I'm going to tell you something. There's evidently something really wonderful about being on TV for 20 years in one show.
Yes.
You're so relaxed. So I was doing a Law and Order SVU, and Mercer Hargitay is so nice, and he's not on it anymore. But what's his name? Maloney is so nice.
Yes.
And my wife said, "They've been on the same show for 20 years. Of course they're nice."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "That's not true. You and I both know there are people who have been on a show for a long time and they're dicks." She goes, "That's true." I said, "For example, if you had a show, you'd be a dick. And she said, what? I said, nothing. So anyway, so she's talking to the director, and she says to the director, in this scene, do you want me to pick up the object, walk over to the guy and say the line, or do you want me to pick it up and walk over as I say the line? I'll do whatever you want, okay? I'm not an egomaniac like Maloney.
Right.
And he goes, and Maloney goes, does anybody hear that? Does anybody hear the kiss my ass bird? They just get along so well, you know, and they love iced tea. I don't mean the drink. They love him. And
Yeah.
I asked him why him. He goes, they said he's so grateful to be on that show. He was on one time, you know, he did one show, and they said, can you come back? And I saw the interview, and he said, I want to meet the guy who, when Dick Wolf says, can you come back, says, no, I can't. So I can beat the living shit out of him.
Ice-T, that one Dick Wolf production, God, it was like New York something or other, and he played a psycho killer on it.
New York Undercover?
Yeah, I think that's was it. He goes, I could blame society, but we both know that'd be a cop-out, which I thought was a great line. And the way
It is a great line.
he delivered it perfectly. You know, he really, you know,
he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah. No, he really knew how to get into that character.
You know, I saw Tom Arnold on A Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, God, how they have sunk.
Well,
and I said to somebody, the fuck is that? And he goes, for whatever part he had, they feel he nailed it.
Yeah.
And I said, and the guy said to me, have you seen him on the show since? I said, no. He said, have you seen other actors who have guest spots on the show since? I go, yeah. He goes, there you are.
Yeah. Well, I think the idea is that with anyone, if you can get the right direction, you should be able to get something out of them. And I suppose that's true. But in New York, you've got to have your choice of any actor. You don't have to work.
That's my point.
You know, I mean, and these you've been in there, I haven't, but it's my understanding production schedule is kind of tight, and they need to keep on time. You know, time is money, and you can't miss a production. You can't miss an air date, and yeah.
And also, you know, if you screw that up, like a Law and Order, you're not going to be on another episodic TV show again,
right?
In New York. And when Dick Wolf is in charge of, can you hear me? 9 of them.
Yeah.
9 of them.
Oh God! Remember Dustin Hoffman in that awful movie Tootsie? But I love how they're talking about how he got fired as an extra. That had to be a real story. That was
You were Beefsteak Tomato?
Yeah, that had to be grafted into that movie. And I love the fact that his roommate, played by Bill Murray, was working on The Love Canal, the musical, which...
I love that. They go, how can you do a movie where people move back to Love Canal? Okay, what is the point of that? They're going to move to Jersey?
Well, I think that was one of Sidney Pollack's movies.
Sure was. That's why it was so funny when he was in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he says, "This is, you know," and he's in drag, and Sidney Pollack looks at Michael Dorsey and goes, "God, Michael, I begged you to get therapy."
Pollack, when he was an actor, I love his movies, but when he was an actor, he really could convey a certain sense of malice. Yeah, I use your
Michael Clayton.
Yeah, in The Sopranos, you know, where he plays the doctor who killed the wife, the maid, the sister-in-law. I was kind of invested at that point. He delivers it with that really wonderful dry deadpan, you know. Mm-hmm. And again, I thought it was nice. He plays the imprisoned oncologist who's trying to get some help there for Johnny Sack.
Johnny Sack.
Yeah. Who
now plays a judge on Law and Order.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Another guy who understood the first physicality of how to hold a cigarette and use it to your advantage.
Great actor.
Yep.
I met well, the guy who plays Big Pussy.
Oh, what's his name? Vincent. Oh gosh,
I
know.
can't think of it. I can't think of it either.
Yeah.
But he said, you know what pisses me off? He says, everybody thinks I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I said, Vincent Pastore.
Vincent Pastore. Yeah.
And I said, I think you should be flattered. And he goes, why? I said, because you play the part so well that they think that's actually you. He goes, no, I said, that's exactly what it is. You play the parts, but they think that's all I can do. I said, well, that's on them.
Yeah.
That's on them. That's not on you. I see it another way. I see that you carried it off so well. They think that's who you are.
Well, who just left us, forever Lieutenant Uhura. But, hey, it worked for her.
And Paulie Walnuts.
Yeah, he just passed away, 2 weeks ago now?
They dropped dead in droves recently.
It's been a hot summer. Been a long, hot summer so far. Yeah,
Lieutenant Uhura.
Lieutenant, they say Nichelle Nicole. She's another one. That was her role. She tells the story of Martin Luther King begging her to not quit the series. And it's hard to imagine what life was like in 1968. But I had friends growing up who would call family when there was a black person going to be on television because they were black, they were African American, black, whatever, and it was so unusual to see. There's someone on TV tonight.
That's right.
I mean, I grew up again, sort of this weird hillbilly hybrid. I can remember my cousin, who was as white as you can get, but we had Moms Mabley, and when Louis Armstrong died, that woman sobbed for hours. She said that was the one man that she really wanted to meet in show business and never got the chance to. And that was back in 71, 72 when Louis Armstrong.
Yeah. Died. 1970.
And
don't ask me why I know that.
Yeah, but I mean, people today, again, that when they sit there and say, who's Jesse Owens, again, you don't need to have these names necessarily burned into your psyche, but it wouldn't hurt. Would it kill you? What would it displace? What, would you suddenly forget the name of a Kardashian or something really nightmarish?
God, that's all I dream about is forgetting the name of a Kardashian.
Yeah, you might see the man who for a brief period of time showed up Hitler and showed up the Third Reich in their own.
Somebody asked me, they said, would you have sex with a Kardashian? And I said, no. And they said, are you serious? I said, yes. They said, why? I said, because when you're done, you have to talk. Okay, and I can't think of anything other than, well, that was okay.
Yeah.
And also, no disrespect to me, but I can't imagine them going, well, let me see. That pro basketball player who makes $30 million a year isn't available.
Right.
How about this dwarf Jew?
Although sometimes, oh well. Yes. Mark is back with us, I think.
Yeah, but I think I'm still on delay.
No, you're coming in now.
No, really?
No, you're okay now.
Yep.
How does that happen? I don't understand how that happens. But nonetheless, I just thought before I went out there, I wanted to make a point. I thought it was, I don't know, coincidental, interesting, telling. I don't know what it was, but Uhura, I'm sorry, Nichelle Nichols and Bill Russell were both the same age, and they died the same time, and they both had impact about the same time in the culture.
The only difference to me is that Uhura, or Nichelle Nichols, was romantically displayed, which was a big deal back then.
Yeah, and
that was only a few months after the Loving decision in the Supreme Court that allowed interracial marriage.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and Roddenberry and Nichelle had a relationship. In fact,
Oh, I
that's
did
what
not
helped
know
go.
that. Yeah.
And you know,
Oh wait.
yeah, I still, you know, she still has one of the better lines, you know, in City on the Edge of Forever. You know, although that was the first time that someone has swore on television when, you know, Kirk says, you know, let's get the hell out of here. But yeah, it's
I have a. I just I have to take this back. I was about to say I have a friend. He's not a friend. I was having dinner at a friend's house,
okay.
and this guy was there,
Mhm.
and I mentioned to them that I saw this wonderful show on PBS, and this guy did the thing that I hate more than anything, which is, oh, we don't watch television. And I came so close to going, a lot of jerking off in your house, huh? And I said, you never watch television? You don't watch PBS? And she goes, oh, no, it's so mundane. I said, and this just came out of my mouth. I said, you're full of crap. I said, I don't believe you. And my wife looks at me and goes, making friends wherever he goes. I said, you know she's full of shit. She said, why can't you just let it go? I said, no. As far as I'm concerned, that's the moral equivalent of saying, you know, Hitler had a point.
Well, he did get the trains to run on time. You know,
That was Mussolini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's not confuse Mussolini and Hitler. Yeah.
Well,
By the way, one of my favorite things in the history of fascism was Hitler was obviously the big deal in that world, right?
Right.
So Mussolini would frequently travel to Germany to see him, and Hitler couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
And he would tell his assistants, I'm not here. And I thought to myself, if Hitler doesn't want to see you, Jesus Christ, Hitler wants to avoid you.
Well, you did see the retirement party the man got.
Oh, man. It wasn't a dry eye in the oven.
Oh. What was Ned Rice's last line last night, Andy? Do you remember?
Who?
Ned Rice.
Oh, I wouldn't know. Tell me.
No, I'm talking about, I was asking Andy because he was at the show, but he said something like, he goes, transgender is one thing, but a racist transgender? I mean, he said his, and he was talking about just somebody in general. He says his pronouns were him, his, and Himmler.
Oh, that's great. That's great. God damn, that's funny.
Yeah, my transgender joke only went over for one guy, but that's okay. You know, when I did the Ellen Page has now become Elliot Rogers.
Yes, I liked it.
Yeah, which again and then I hit the guy with the Supreme Gentleman, because again, someone my age shouldn't know that much about that guy. And
you know what's interesting though? When I was watching Juno, and she was kissing Michael Cera, I felt no romantic connection.
No spark. No spark there.
None. It's actually the way I felt when I watched Cosby and Felicia Rashad.
Oof. Oof. That would be hard to look at now. I mean, someone should almost put together.
That was hard to look at then.
I know.
Because I've known Felicia since I was 18. We went to school together.
Right.
Now, I don't know that she ever said this, but I can imagine her saying this. You lay one hand on me and I'll break it off.
Yeah. Or her husband.
I won't say it again. That's the one time I'll say it, but I will break your fucking hand off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, that bitch isn't kidding.
Yeah.
You may notice, you don't see Ahmad Rashad anymore.
Well, you guys remember
where is he?
Back, Gabe Kaplan and what's her name? Julie Strasberg, was it?
Yeah, Strassman.
Strassman. They hated each other. I mean, like spitting at each other.
It's such a tribute to their acting ability.
Yeah,
It really is.
Because it always looked funny to me, but I don't know who was the hard one to get along with, or maybe it was the both.
I'm guessing it was Gabe.
Yeah, wasn't he a Detroit comedian originally, or am I mistaken? Because he was big in Detroit.
He's from Brooklyn. He's a Brooklyn comic.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn.
And I am mistaken, but and he did have kind of a career after Cotter for a little while. But,
as a professional poker player.
Really? I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
I did not.
Huge poker player.
Yeah.
Really?
I believe the submarine is going down.
And it just hearing that those two did.
Back in '96, I toured and wrote for Gabe Kaplan.
What was it like
with him?
He was a great guy.
Okay.
The worst person I ever worked with, who was well known,
He had no problems with.
Was George Miller.
Well,
Letterman's buddy.
Super nice.
Okay. Well, we got a little disconnect between Sam and Mark here. Sorry.
So
the guy with the typewriter.
Yeah,
I got along with George Miller too.
Oh, he was terrible. They kept saying
the guy with the typewriter.
They kept saying listen, do not curse around him when you're on stage.
Everybody always.
They'll have you fired. But I'll never forget this. They said, but if he likes you, you can open for him in Houston. And I went, ooh. Oh, it's all I've dreamed of.
Ooh.
Getting $500 a week to open for a prude.
Well, I had back in when I was driving limo, gosh, this has to be about 15, 16 years ago now. I drove Ike Turner. And of course, we've all heard the stories between Ike and Tina. Couldn't be a nicer guy. Signed every autograph.
Well, he didn't want to beat you up and fuck you.
Yeah. You say that like a bad thing. That's the thing, Sam.
So far as we know.
I mean, I'm not sure I had the plumbing he wanted, but I could have faked it some way. I mean, I have been to prison.
Many men have.
Yeah, I mean, but he didn't have, it would have been for love because he didn't.
What year was that? What year was that?
It had to be like 2002, 2003.
He had kind of changed his ways by then.
Yeah, I mean, he was at the Ann Arbor. They were having a blues and jazz thing here, and
great musician.
Yeah. Oh, he had a great time. Like I say, took photos with everyone, posed with everybody, signed everything. Nicest guy in the world. But Tina tells a very different story.
When he died, they asked Tina Turner for a comment, and her spokesman said, Miss Turner has no comment at all on about that man, and will not answer any other questions about him.
Well,
now see, once you hear that, this is just me. You're done. You're done.
Yeah.
She told you, I'm not going to talk about it. The reporters who go, yeah, but what? They deserve to get just pushed into traffic. Yeah. She told you she doesn't want to talk about it. And what you're doing is stupid, because not only are you not listening to what she says, you're screwing yourself for a further interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, although I think she's kind of retired.
Oh, she was. Uh-oh, it's the music.
Yep. You know what that means?
We're jerking off.
Yep.
No, we've run into our hour. I'm trying to keep this in an hour now.
I understand.
So I got other things to do, and I think we cover everything we can in an hour. And we get to meet each other, and we get to meet each other again next Monday night at 8:00. Yep. So,
and my voice held up.
And what happened?
My voice held up.
Hey, you know what? Good. I'm glad. But you know what? Have you noticed when Andy's not on, I'm not on delay?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
What is that?
I think Andy's got some shit in the game.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm just saying. Just awful coincidence.
It sure is. Anyway, we'll see everybody next week. Thanks for joining us.
Please
remember,
well.
Jason, Andy, and I are live on Sunday nights at the Ale House in Ypsi, Michigan. And we're here every Monday night at 8:00 on YouTube. So, and Facebook on Detroit Comedians and Comedy Fans, and a couple other places. Text me. I'll tell you where we're at. All right. See you next week.
Take care, guys.
Hey, Sam.
Says the man with two over chest that he passed.